We have FICO on one side, we have VantageScore on the other side. And there is a credit war going on when it comes to loan origination. Now, what is going on? Real simple. On July 8th, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac made the announcement that now lenders can use the VantageScore to qualify buyers. The VantageScore will help people with thinner credit profiles and will look at things that FICO does not look at. So people who don't have a lot of credit history, has maybe one credit card and they pay their rent on time all the time for the past 2 or 3 years, guess what? Welcome to the Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez, where we talk everything real estate. For this show, I'm going to talk about the credit war that's going on right now. We have FICO on one side, we have VantageScore on the other side, and there is a credit war going on when it comes to loan origination. Now, what is going on? Well, real simple. On July 8th, Bill Pullitt, who is in charge of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, made the announcement that now lenders can use the VantageScore to qualify buyers. And the VantageScore is another credit scoring system. Now, prior to that, everybody used what's called a FICO score. Now, let's look at the history of the FICO score. In 1995, the FICO score was introduced to all loans for the Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So that meant for 30 years, FICO had a monopoly on that credit score where everybody in the industry used it. So now, fast forward to 2018, Trump, first term as president, he signed a bill into law, and it was called the Credit Score Competition Act. And what that was for is to give competition, because there was this monopoly with FICO where everybody used the FICO score. And the thinking was, hey, if there was competition, the services would get better. And you know how they say iron sharpens iron? Well, now FICO, it would have to be more competitive because now there's a competitor in town. Okay, so that's what happened on July 8th. On July 8th, the announcement was made, but the bill was signed in 2018. Now, from 2018 to 2022, they were, just using the algorithms, checking to see if this new scoring system, this VantageScore, was good, if it, could be a good predictor of, people paying their mortgages on time. So they just ran, thousands of simulations just to see how everything would go. And after 2022, everything was pretty much done, but nothing was implemented, nothing was done under the last administration, because that was under Biden. Now, July, once again, 8th, the announcement was made that, hey, lenders, you can use this VantageScore. But before everybody gets all excited about, hey, there's another scoring system, how does it work, and how to implement it, we don't quite know yet. So that's all going to be rolled out in the next couple of months. And my thoughts are, we're going to see this, probably happen in January of next year. We're going to be getting guidance of how to implement the new scoring system. And what the positive things are is this. Well, if the FICO score does things the way they do it, they have their algorithm and they have their intellectual property as far as how they do it. Well, the VantageScore is slightly different. And that VantageScore is supposed to help people with thin credit profiles, people who don't have a lot of credit history. And also, it's supposed to pick up things like rental payment history. The FICO score right now doesn't do that. So the VantageScore will. So if somebody has maybe one credit card and they pay their rent on time all the time for the past, 2 or 3 years, well, guess what? The VantageScore, because they're using that rental history, will be much higher than what a FICO score would be. At least that's what they're saying. Now, if you have 2 credit profiles that are equally strong, 10, 15 years worth of history, a ton of history, the scores should come out about the same with it. Now, as far as I'm talking about FICO score and VantageScore, let's take it one step back, because people are saying, hey, Pat, there's something called TransUnion, Experian, Equifax, how do they fit into the mix? Now think of TransUnion, Experian, Equifax as warehouses that's storing your financial information, okay? So when Macy's or Sears or your Ford, automotive, whatever, when they report your information, they report it to the credit warehouses, this TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. So now they get that information, okay? And then when a lender is trying to do a loan for somebody, they pull the information. FICO or the VantageScore is going to pull that information from TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, and then they'll come up with a score. That's why people have 3 scores. And the reason why people have 3 scores and they're a little bit different is because not everybody reports to all 3 credit bureaus. So once again, the credit bureaus, think of them as giant warehouses storing your information, and then you have FICO is the scoring system that reads that information and spits out a credit score just like that VantageScore. So what we're being told, the VantageScore will help people with thinner credit profiles and will look at things that FICO does not look at. And that's where maybe some of the advantages are. And as a lender, hey, if I look at that FICO score and it's a little low and the loan's not working, now I have an option to say, hey, let's try running it through this VantageScore and see if it works. The more options, the better, most of the time, for the customer and also for us as the lender. You know, it just, if there's 10 credit pools that we're looking at and we're running through 10 loans, well, guess what? If 1 or 2 more will get approved because we have the option of using that VantageScore, great. That's all the better to buyers. Now, hopefully, FICO had 30 years of history. Hopefully that VantageScore, they have run enough simulations and it is tested and it is a good indicator of people paying on time. Hopefully that is accurate and that is good, okay? But once again, the million-dollar question, how's everything going to be implemented? And then my question that I have is, hey, if I'm a landlord, I don't report to the credit bureaus. So how is the credit bureaus going to get that information so it could feed it to that VantageScore? So there's a lot of unanswered questions that we need to learn and find out about, and that's all going to be rolled out. But guess what? The mortgage and the real estate industry, it's always moving. There's always turbulence. We're always, learning new things, adapting. And guess what? This is just a new thing that's coming down the pike and something that we have to look at. And there was a ton of chatter. I got a lot of questions. People, DMing me on Facebook, calling, asking questions. Hey, I'm hearing about this credit war, that there's going to be another scoring system. Do I qualify now? All that kind of stuff. Well, guess what? We're going to find out, and that's going to be rolled out, slowly but surely. Right now, we don't know too much. All we do know is, hey, in time, we're going to get more information. And once again, my guess, probably around January, this will really start rolling out for everybody to use. So just wanted to give you a really quick update, what's going on with the credit reporting system and the credit bureaus. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, this show is everything real estate. So follow the show on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, The Real Estate Show with Pat Lopez. Make sure you do some likes. Really helps out the algorithm. Yeah, I'm getting close to 40,000 subscribers. So be sure to subscribe to the show. The more the merrier. And also, if there's a comment, you want me to cover a certain topic, just like people were asking me about the credit war, be sure to do that. Hope you enjoy the show, and I'll see you next week.